intention is everything. And you got to witness that like firsthand.
We end up second guessing these like natural urges or energies that we feel within ourselves. And that's why I love human design and astrology so much.
You can sense them.
Yes.
Okay, so there's more than one.
Yes. I
Okay.
think that's why we're here. People need to hear that they're on the right path.
You are not alone. And there are others that are holding that light for you so that way you can take a moment for yourself. I feel that so deeply. And so I love that that's in my chart and I'm on the right track.
This left angle cross of defiance, your life theme is actually to step out of line.
This was so healing, so magical, and so powerful.
Never gone through an exercise like that, and it's like life-changing. I love it.
Welcome to Coaching Kaleidoscope, where you get an inside look to coaching like no other. In this series, you will witness rapid-fire 20-minute coaching sessions covering a kaleidoscope of topics. Join me, Samantha Clark, a passionate, transformational, and intuitive coach, for a front row seat to my one-on-one sessions with some of the most incredible coaches out there. Then the tables turn as roles reverse and my guest coach takes the lead, guiding me through a powerful experience. Time may be short as we're put to the test, but the raw, unscripted, inside look at the expertise and vulnerable side of heart-centered coaching promises to be transformational. Oh, Regina, hi, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Oh, I am so happy that you're here. This is going to be magical. I'm so impressed by what you do. And yeah, what is it? Like, tell us what you do.
Well, I'm an astrologer and I also read human design charts, and I use that as a way to activate a person's like highest potential because in our charts are like the blueprint of what our souls want to be and do on this plane, like while we're here. And so you can look at it and see like so many different octaves of energy. And so I just look at like the highest potentials of what someone could do or what, the direction that their soul wants to take. And I use that as a way to activate someone or to give them validation or to really just like motivate and push someone forward towards their actual like highest potential. And I do that with families because I also work with babies and mothers as well. I was a birth keeper. I am a birth keeper, and I incorporate all of that in the energetic sessions that I do as well. But I do see myself moving more towards that energetic realm of astrology and human design full time, but I still definitely work with mothers in a postpartum sense, in a birth sense, but also through astrology and human design.
Oh my gosh, it's so incredible to me that you do astrology and you know so much in this realm and then human design on top of it because like I'm really curious about astrology and I know a little bit, but to me it just seems like it would take a lifetime to learn. So I'm so curious like how did you get into it and how did you like how long have you been doing this and all
Oh
of
my
that?
goodness, yes. And I will agree with you. It does take a lifetime to learn. I'm just someone who's always going to be learning astrology. I'm learning so many deeper layers than from when I started. I started at 11 with astrology,
Oh my
but
goodness.
not in a deep sense. Like I was always fascinated and I would use it as a tool. There's this astrologer from I think the 70s. Her name was Linda Goodman, and she had these books like the sun signs, the love signs, like the very basic astrology. And so my best friend and I in middle school, we would read through these books and start playing out the archetypes and start understanding like, okay, yeah, I'm a Taurus sun and an Aries moon. What does that mean for me? And I would analyze it. We were already kind of doing that. We were like psychoanalyzing how our personalities meld with these energies. And I left it at that. I left it at like sun and moon sign for so long. And it wasn't until I want to say like 2018, 2019, where I was like, oh, wow, there's a whole wealth of information that I could go into here because I was feeling really lost. I was feeling like I don't want to be in my job anymore. I don't know what to do. And so I started deep diving and I was kind of self-taught initially. I just buy the books and I would read it. And it was like the first time in my life that things make sense, I guess. I've always had this thing where I love learning, but the way that I would think of something would be very different from the way that someone else would think of something. And for some reason, astrology just like worked with my brain really well. Like it just made sense for me.
And
And
gave you that permission to like accept that part of yourself. Like, oh, it's in
yes,
my chart. Like, this is who I am.
yes, very much so, very much so. So I was self-taught for quite a bit of time, and then I went through an apprenticeship with a mentor of mine, and she was incredibly intuitive, and it was the first time that I allowed my intuition to kind of flow through. It's like astrology now. I'm now tethered to astrology, and like that's when my intuition, like, or I can trust my intuition to come through, if that makes sense. Because I'm so in my head most of the time and very analytical. So I started doing that. I went through the apprenticeship, and then I was also dealing with like various health issues at the time. I just had my baby and postpartum. I was just really tired all of the time. And I stumbled upon human design. That was like, I want to say 2019 or so. I stumbled upon human design and I started deep diving there because once I get into something, I have to like keep going until like the ends of the earth. So I just started deep diving and I just was like, oh, I was going for a run in the woods. There's a cemetery and like trails behind the cemetery. I was going for a run, and it was like Spirit said to me, "Why don't you just read charts?" And I was like, "What?" It was so random. And then I just started reading charts for my family and my friends, and it just became a thing. And I was like, actually, I'm really like obsessed with this, and I want to do this full time. And that's how it happened, basically. Oh, and of course I entered a bunch of other astrology programs. I'm in two different ones now, and it's just been deepening and deepening and deepening my knowledge, which has been really fun.
Wow. That's so incredible that you just like you followed that and trusted it and here you are. I
Mhm.
love your posts and when you talk about what's going on with everything, it just makes so much sense. And
Thank you.
sometimes I'm like, what is going on? What am I feeling? And then I see your post about like the moon or like the energy and where things are,
Mhm.
the planetary alignment. I'm like, oh, okay, okay.
Oh,
So
that's amazing.
cool.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, so are you ready to get started?
Yeah, let's get started. I can't wait to like, I don't know, be the recipient of your wisdom. Because I definitely watch your videos as well, and I'm so impressed about just what you can see and what you can sense. And there's so much about your chart that's like, yes, this person is very psychically sensitive. So I can't wait to kind of show you where that's at in your chart and talk a little bit more about how beautiful your soul purpose is. And
Oh, I'm
yeah,
so excited for that too. Okay. So we'll each get a chance to coach each other, like you just said. So I'm gonna flip a coin and you call it, and then if you get it right, then you will be the one that coaches first.
all right, awesome. I'm loving
Okay.
it.
So I got my Lady Liberty coin here.
Oh,
And
nice.
yeah, I borrowed it from my partner. It's his golf, it's his like lucky coin for golf.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, okay. So heads or tails?
Tails.
Okay. Oh, it's heads.
It's heads.
It's
Okay.
heads. Okay, so
Yeah.
I'm going to coach you first. Are you good
Sounds
with
good.
that?
I'm awesome with that. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So we were talking a little bit before we started, just about what's going on with you, but if you can kind of recap about like what's coming forward for you right now.
Yeah. So the biggest thing today through meditation, I always get, little messages and I notice and I feel it that like my throat chakra is like kind of, I don't know, it's just blocked or just kind of stunted in some sort of way. And it's a journey for me. I know this is a journey for me. It happens like a little healing spiral where I let my voice out a little bit more and then it shrinks back in and then I let it out more and then it just ebbs and flows essentially. But yeah, it's a lifelong journey for me to really fully feel like I can speak out my truth or speak in a certain way or speak consistently even. So yeah, it's a journey with my throat chakra and I feel like it's coming up today for sure.
Yeah, I love that you realize that it's like a spiral and you're on like the back end of it and you're really feeling it, but you know that like okay, it's okay to allow this and get through it because on the other side of it, it's projecting me like into deeper knowings of myself and opening that. So,
Yeah.
okay, well, I'd really like you to connect with your intuition through this and see what's going on. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you go into like a meditative state. Um and connecting with your heart. So that way you're at the right frequency, like an unconditional love frequency. And then we're going to bring you into a space where you can see yourself and bring in some guides and get some information about what's going on with your throat chakra and how you can heal what's going on. Does that sound good?
Good. Yeah.
Okay. So go ahead and close your eyes. And take some nice, long, deep breaths, releasing all the tension that you're holding. Just really feel into your body as you're breathing. And bring your awareness to your heart space. And I want you to think of something or someone that you love unconditionally, like a newborn baby or a puppy or something that just brings you so much like unconditional love and joy. And just notice what that sensation feels like in your heart space. And you might notice a smile that comes upon your face, activating the pressure points on each side of your grin that's opening your crown. Just allow yourself to like receive that feeling of unconditional love in your heart space, completely and totally filling that whole cavity of your chest. Notice what colors are coming up, the sensations. As you breathe into this beautiful sensation of unconditional love, this frequency that you truly are, this is you, this frequency. Allowing it to expand, feeling it in the back of your higher back, your upper back, filling that entire cavity. And as you breathe, it expands outside of your heart space into your aura. Just noticing that this sensation is endless. It is so potent. And now allowing this sensation to move upwards into your throat, your neck, up over your face, the back of your skull, and then pouring out of your crown chakra like a fountain into your aura, into the space around you. And as you breathe, you're fueling it to completely and totally fill the entire aura space around you, the back of you, the front of you, and the sides. And if you notice anywhere in your aura that you see like a rip or a tear or some heaviness or darkness, just adding some extra unconditional love frequency to that space. Now noticing that this frequency comes up underneath your feet and allow it to emerge and soak in from the bottom of your feet, up over your feet, your ankles, up your calves and your shins, over your knees, your thighs, your groin, your hips. Just take a moment to notice what that sensation feels like in the bottom part of your body. Allowing it to move up into your stomach, all of your major intestines and organs, up over your ribs, up your back, into your chest, up your shoulders, completely down your arms, your elbows and wrists, and all the way to the tips of your fingers and thumbs. Now you're completely and totally submerged. Every single cell in your body is vibrating at this frequency of unconditional love. Okay. Now I want you to imagine in front of you an octagon, the shape of an octagon, just a big, like, sacred geometry shape, like a dome, this sacred space. Okay. And right before you walk into it, you're going to notice your ego and just ask your ego to step aside. I usually feel my ego like pulling, I kind of pull it out to the left of me and just like sit right here. Okay. And go ahead and walk into this beautiful octahedron, this dome. Okay. Now in front of you, I want you to notice a silhouette of a body. Just a normal human body, just the silhouette. Okay. Are you seeing that?
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. Okay, now this silhouette is going to be you. So it's easier to work on a silhouette than to work on yourself, right? So I want you to say, I want you to say this 3 times, like, this is the body of Regina. You can use your last name too.
This is the body of Regina Verret Foster. This is the body of Regina Verret Foster. This is the body of Regina Verret Foster.
Beautiful. Okay. Now, just being curious and noticing, and if you at any point feel your ego coming up, just ask your ego to step aside to the left. Now, just noticing in this silhouette, what do you see? Just being curious, like what comes up first as you're scanning it. We're just being
Mm,
playful here.
yeah. I just see myself in white.
In white. And the in white, what does that mean to you? Like what is that the feeling of white to you?
Mm, it feels like pure. It feels like a cleansing color, a blank slate.
Beautiful. Okay. Now, you had talked about your throat chakra and working on that. So I want you to bring your attention to that part of your body and just notice, like, what do you see in the throat area?
I see like circles, like dark circles in the throat area.
Okay. So, I want you at this time to go ahead and call in your most holy and sacred guides that specialize in clearing the throat space, clearing the throat chakra.
I call on my guides.
And use like the most holy and sacred, because like anybody coming by, any spirit coming by can work with you, right? But you want the best, the most holy and sacred, the perfect guides for this job. So the most holy and sacred specialty guides that specialize in the throat and the throat chakra.
I call on my most holy and sacred guides that specialize in the throat chakra area.
Yeah. What are you noticing?
A lot of energy.
Energy? Is it in front of you?
It's in front of me, so it's like on my silhouette, and there's like light going towards my throat.
Mm. Do you notice any other like beings that are there?
Yes, but I can't see them clearly. I just see like what's emitting through them, and it's that
Mm.
light going towards my throat.
You can sense them.
Yes.
Okay, so there's more than one.
Yes.
Okay, what are you sensing? Like two beings, two guides, more,
Yes. Either 2 to 3.
two to three. Okay. Is there one in the back?
No.
No. Okay. Beautiful. And what does their energy feel like?
Light.
Light, like the color, like a light color, or like a light.
No, like a light feeling. Like when they're around me, I feel like uplifted a little bit. Like I feel like a shift in my own energy.
Is this something that you've experienced before?
Yes.
Okay. So do you think that you've worked with these guides before?
I think so.
Hmm. Is there something that they can give you so you know what they feel like, so you know that they're around?
I'm just getting an image of my in my head of fire.
Fire?
Yeah, that's the clearest thing that I see.
That's good. So next time you're working with guides, you can ask for this symbol or you can visualize the symbol to call them in too. That's kind of like their signature.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, so going back to your throat, so they're emitting this beautiful um light you said towards your throat.
Mhm.
Is it going towards those dark circles or what does it feel like?
Yeah, it's going towards the dark circle, the blocks, the blotches. I don't know how really to describe them.
Okay. Okay, well, we'll let them work on that space for you. Okay. Give them their time to work on you. And something really beautiful that you can do for yourself is you brought that beautiful unconditional love frequency through your whole body. And I want you to notice how, like, you as you're standing there looking at your silhouette, how this beautiful energy is in like the palms of your hands, lighting up your palms. This beautiful, like white or gold healing energy. Can you see that?
Mhm.
Beautiful. Okay, I want you to go over to the silhouette and put your hands on the bottoms of your feet.
Okay.
Okay, and allow this beautiful healing energy to go up your feet, up over your feet. You're going to completely fill your legs up with this beautiful healing light. And when it's completely and totally filled, we'll move up.
It's filled.
Filling every cell in your body with this healing energy. Just keep going. What are you noticing?
Well, it's like it's interesting because I'm doing it to myself and then I also feel it.
Oh, good. That's so powerful to like feel that connection, you know, that you're working on a silhouette, but it's affecting you.
Mhm. And I just feel, I don't know, more expanded.
Mm. Do. 'Cause. 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 ' Are you noticing any areas that need a little extra attention, an extra dose of this beautiful healing sensation?
Yes, over by my sacral.
Sacral, yeah. Now, earlier we practiced like bringing in this sensation of unconditional love from like an outside source, like a baby or a puppy. But I want you to think about the unconditional love that you have for yourself and allow yourself, like this silhouette, to receive that sensation in that space. Is there anything that needs to be removed from the sacral? Anyone else's energy?
Hmm. I didn't think so, but when she started saying that, I started pulling out. So I guess so. I don't know whose energy, but I pulled
Okay.
some out.
Yeah. Let's see. So if does it seem like it's just inside of you and there's no other like other end of it that it's connected somewhere else? Or do you feel like it's connected somewhere?
Honestly, I'm not quite sure.
Just be curious. You're really good at this.
I'm pulling. I think it's connected to me.
Okay. Okay, what we can do is have you ever worked with Jesus like as a like a master?
No.
No. Okay, are you comfortable calling in Jesus to help you with this healing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Okay, so I want you to go ahead and use your intention and call in Jesus into this space to help you with this healing.
Let me call in Jesus to please help me with this healing.
Beautiful. All right, what are you noticing? Again, if your ego comes up, just allowing your ego to go and sit back down.
I'm actually just noticing more sensations on my right side. Like
Okay.
something was next to me on my right side to help.
Mhm. So I want you to really tune into this feeling that you're getting from this sensation that you're feeling on the right and like the being that's there, and just look into their eyes and notice what color eyes they have.
Interesting. It's like all colors, closer to like a hazel brown green.
Brown green.
Like, I see so many colors just in that.
Beautiful. That's so beautiful. And are you sensing in this area, like when you called in Jesus, are you sensing any like more than one being in that space now?
I'm not.
You're not? Okay. Beautiful. Mm. So usually Jesus travels with like Mary Magdalene, they kind of work as a team. Mhm. And any point during this that you feel like things are blurry or like you're having a hard time seeing it, you can kind of use like, on those old radios, they had those dials, those knobs where you like turned into the radio station to make it clear.
Mhm.
You can do this with the picture, like just kind of fine tune it with the different knobs to make things come through more clear and crisp.
That helps for sure.
Beautiful. Okay. So we're going to ask that this energy that's not yours that you're holding to be completely and totally removed from your sacral space And if you have left any of your energy anywhere else that pertains to this, we ask that it be given back to you.
Whoa,
What are you
that's
noticing?
energy everywhere.
Okay, so while they're working on you down there, let's check back in with your throat. And are your guides still working on your throat, or have they finished?
Oh, interesting. They're still there.
Mhm.
Yeah, I guess they're still there.
Okay. While they're still there, let's ask them, like, what do you need to know about your throat space that can help you, like, in your actual life? Like, it's so easy for us to receive messages in meditation, right? And then we go about our day and we forget about them. But what is something, like, just very concrete that you need to know to help you really ground into healing this space and these wounds of speaking your truth and all of that?
Guides, what is something that I need to know about my throat chakra that's concrete and grounded that I can use in my everyday life? Singing?
Singing. Interesting. Is there like songs that are like really fun and light you up, or songs that speak to your soul, or is it like a higher frequency that's like has like those attuning sounds to heal your throat? Like, what is it?
I think it's the tuning.
The tuning. How do you feel hearing that?
Feels good. It feels like it's something I can do.
Okay, beautiful. Okay. And let's go back down into your sacral and the work that's being done there. How are they doing with that?
Good. I feel a sensation there.
Okay. Now I'm going to ask them, when they are done with this healing, like this healing in this space, that they fill in, like the hole that the energy came out of, that the energy is going back into that space or any other areas that they're working on you, that they completely seal that area with this beautiful healing gold light. Okay. And so we're going to allow them to continue to work on you, because our time is up. And so I'm going to bring you back into this space and allow them to still work on you. Are you comfortable with that?
Mhm.
Okay. And so then later, I want you to check back in and see if they're done. And as you feel that it's complete, I want you to like see your silhouette and let it explode. And that will like seal and close out the work that you've done.
Okay.
Okay. So I invite you to come back into your body, into your space, taking a deep breath into the back of you, bringing your spirit back into the back of your body. And now taking a deep breath and allowing your spirit to come into the front of your body. Completely filling the whole cavity of your body with your spirit. Feeling your weight on the chair. Wiggling your toes and your fingers. Rolling your shoulders a little. And then when you feel ready to open your eyes.
Wow.
How do you feel?
I don't know, I feel lighter. feel like that's just like opened up a new space within me to do an exercise like that. I don't know. I feel really good. I feel a lot calmer.
Good,
Yeah.
good. That was so beautiful to watch you work in that space.
Oh my gosh, that's really, really amazing, actually.
Good. I'm glad that you enjoyed that. And you can go back to this space. It's like the octagon or octahedron. Um, that's like your workspace, where nothing from the outside is going to come in. It's just like you in this silhouette. And you can do this for other people too. Like you can name the silhouette whoever and
Mhm.
just do a scan and see what comes up. And the most important thing is just to be like playful and curious. And anytime you feel your ego come in, be like, okay, just step to the side a little bit.
I felt like that was the most helpful because that's where I get blocked normally. I'm always like, that's not your thought. It's just me. It's just me like saying that. And then I get in my head about it. And it's like, it was very helpful to just put the ego to the side and really go into that fully. Because that's usually where I get blocked or stopped, because I'm second guessing myself in a lot of different ways. So yeah.
Oh, I totally know what you mean. Like I am such a thinker, and that gets in my way. That's why I was like, okay, that it works for me. And so I know if I'm like so much in my head, it's gonna work for other people too. So I'm so
Yeah,
glad that
it was
that helped you.
incredible.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
were so beautiful in that space. I loved it.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Do you have any questions about what you experienced?
See, I have another thing that happens like when I see my guides, they're just blobs, like I don't see them. So I
Mhm.
saw the energies, I felt the energies, but I don't ever see them. And I saw what they were admitting out, but I don't see them. And so I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know. And that just could be like how I sense things. Maybe I just sense them like more viscerally versus through sight. But yeah.
So we are capable, they're clairs, right? Like I don't know if you've ever heard. Yeah, okay. So we have all of them. Like every single person has all of them, but it's a muscle you have to like fine tune it. And it's just been conditioned out of us to like see things. And maybe when you were younger, like something freaked you out. And so you're like, I don't want to see anything. So it's just a matter of like using those dials to fine tune and really just being curious and allowing yourself to explore and to like to be like that playful kid that like you're okay with like thinking it's your imagination because it will always feel like your imagination.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very helpful, actually. Yeah.
I
Hmm.
thought it was so cool how you when you were giving your the like silhouette, the energy that you were feeling it in your body
Yes.
because
Yeah.
it's so cool how like your intention is everything and you got to witness that like firsthand like you the silhouette like you set the intention that this was you and you were working on it and you felt it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I don't know. I've never gone through an exercise like that, and it's like life changing. I love it.
Oh, good. I'm so happy that I could help you.
Yeah, very much so.
Very cool.
Are you ready for your session?
Oh, I am beyond ready. I can't wait to hear what you have to say. And yeah, like I know this is gonna change my life. So let's
That's a
get
high
into it.
bar. That's a high bar. Okay, so let me start sharing my screen so that you can see your chart. I have two charts up for you today, that I looked at. So we were talking earlier, and one of the goals for you was to really kind of just hone in on your overall soul purpose. And normally I look at the chart very holistically. And so what we're going to do is we're actually going to look at like slices of your chart. So it's a
Oh,
little
cool.
different than what I normally do, but we're honing in on the specific points in your chart that really talk about soul purpose, most prominently. Your whole chart is your natal promise and what's going to happen to you in this life and all of that. But we are really going into like, okay, where's the soul purpose parts and the mission, part of your chart? So that's what I'm focusing on today. And we'll also look at your human design chart, and I'll talk about it from a soul purpose perspective as well. So again, this is your whole body graph, your whole aura, all of that, but we're talking about it through the lens of that mission, that main theme and mission, in your life. So
This is so
wanted
cool.
to
I
try.
can't wait.
And I always like to say, because I do things with intention, my intention is for this to be like a growth tool and for your highest good and expansion. But of course, you know yourself the best. You just take what resonates and leave the rest. So I just always like to put that out there because
Perfect. Yeah.
you want to plant any seeds that don't resonate with you, right?
Okay.
One thing that I like for soul purpose is to actually look up your life path number, which is numerology. Not a numerologist, but I'm very interested in numerology. And you're a life path 9,
Mhm.
and which is amazing. It's the most evolved numbers. It carries all the qualities of the other numbers. It's the wise old soul. It's the intuitive. It's the humanitarian. So you do have that part of like kind of your life imprint for your theme of life as well. And there's going to be a focus on letting go and surrendering in your life. There's going to be a focus on, gaining and acting upon your like higher spiritual principles. So 9s are about ending cycles. 9s are about listening to your inner voice. And so just as a life theme, you have that imprint, which matches up really beautifully with what I see in your chart as well.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I just did this like healing experience that came through and there, yeah, like a lot of healing, like collective energies and things. And so, yeah, that definitely resonates.
Yes, absolutely. That's awesome. And so I always like to look at the ascendant, which is your first house. You have your ascendant kind of labeled by the AC here, but you have your moon right there in the first house and it's right next to your ascendant. So anytime you have your moon on your like in your rising sign or in your first house, it gives you a bit more sensitivity. It's like psychic sensitivity, which we obviously know is very true for you. It's kind of like you're going into the world a little bit more bare, a little bit more sensitive. So you're picking up your antennas can pick up a lot more than the average person. So either collective energy or when you're in a room, you're picking up on the emotional energy of like other people. And also anything that's in your first house, you can't hide. So while you're a Capricorn rising, that's like a rising sign. If you didn't have the moon there, you would come off a little bit more reserved. You would come off a little bit more serious. And that's still part of you, but that moon is what you lead with. And so you actually end up being more of a lunar person, a person that people feel the warmth coming out of you. Even if it's in a Saturn ruled sign, they feel that warmth coming off of you. And this may put you in situations where people know that you're warm and nurturing, and so they look to you to help them. They look to you to solve their emotional issues. And a lot of people who have moon in the first house, they wear their heart on their sleeves. The moon is not something you can hide, and that's your instinctual self. So you might have through life drawn on less security of like taking on responsibility, taking care of other people. It made you also equally feel valuable and loved and needed. And that's kind of the role that you may have taken on in your family or with your friends groups. You do have Saturn in the house of friends. So you might have been the friend that's like the mom in the group or the one that takes care of other people or the one that they're always like, oh, Samantha's got it. I know she can handle it. And the thing is with that, because you're a Saturn ruled moon, you take on a lot of other people's issues and responsibilities, and you're like the rock for other people. But it makes it really hard when you need help to ask for help because you're usually the one who's helping. So putting that out there as something that's, a lesson to learn essentially.
Definitely
And
true. Mhm.
yeah, and the other thing about the moon in the first house is because you give out this beautiful nurturing energy quite generously. The challenge is creating boundaries around that, right? So you might have given your all to somebody and they don't necessarily value it or reciprocate in any way. And again, you're not expecting reciprocation, but sometimes people can take that skill and that gift that you have for granted because it is something you give out generously and it's something that comes very naturally to you. However, it does take energy and it does take life force. And so creating boundaries around that so that you're doing it for people that appreciate you. You're doing it for people that actually see you. You're doing it for people that value what you're doing because people can take advantage of that nurturing, really all-encompassing energy that you have. And it is a gift to have. So putting that out there. Also, the moon is very connected to the mother as well. And so a lot of people with moon in the first house either take on personas of their parents, like of their mother, or they look a lot like their mother because it's the house of appearance as well. So, and a lot of moon in the first house people have a very, very close relationship with their mother. It is in a Saturn ruled sign, but it's still moon in the first house. And you have a beautiful, harmonious aspect to Saturn. So I'm going to say on the end of this is a close relationship with your mom. There's parts of the chart that might suggest that there's some stress there, but overall, it's a relationship where you've taken on some traits of your mom or you're healing parts of your mom, but your mom is a really big story in your life, because she is part of your self-expression in a lot of ways. Um,
100%. Yeah.
so,
Mhm.
okay, good. I'm like, oh, I know where I'm going with this. This is what
I
came.
definitely look like my mom, and all of the other stuff is 100% true.
Oh my gosh. Okay, good to know. Good to know. That's great. But yes, with your Saturn, so the Saturn actually represents a huge part of you because it's the ruler of your first house. So I look at Saturn and it's very much connected to your South Node, and that's part of the mission. So your South Node it's like the gifts that you've come into this life with. It's what comes really naturally to you. It's your comfort zone. It's a place that is meant to be a point of release. So you're supposed to keep these wonderful gifts that you've come into this life with, but at the same time, you're supposed to learn lessons from them and release the parts that are no longer serving you. So you need to like heal from your kind of past conformist behavior. Saturn is very much into tradition and what the mainstream is doing and not going outside of that. If you look at this from like a past life perspective, it could be that you in the past tried to conform and stay with what society expected of you in a lot of ways. It is in Scorpio, so there may be a sense of Scorpio is a very relational and psychic and healing sign. So it might have been that you were someone who supported some other person of authority instead of stepping into it yourself, if that makes sense. So in a lot of ways, you need to release, feelings of restrictions, take your lessons of responsibility, and authority and basically use them constructively and eliminate extremes. Scorpio is also a sign that has felt a lot of pain and psychological trauma in the past. So you're letting go of that and you're going towards the North Node in Taurus. And Taurus energy is very much about peace and resiliency and self-reliance. Scorpio is about merging with another and really relational. And so there's parts of you that still needs to do that, but we're doing it in a different way and we're doing it with balance so that you're onto yourself a little bit more. You're thinking about yourself. There's like a nourishing part of nourishing your own inner truth and your own peace in a beautiful creative way, but you're also still meant to be in this like transformative field because this point over here is your midheaven and that's also your mission in life. The point of release here though is this might also have to do with who you are in your community or your friends because it's in the house of friends as well. So maybe in the past you might have given a little bit too much to your friends or to your community in some way, shape, or form. And now you're kind of Taurus is a sign that I don't want to say it's not a selfish sign, but it is a sign that is thinking of itself and its peace first before it goes out and does anything else. So you're moving more towards that. And the other thing I thought was really beautiful in your chart is you have the North Node at the same degree as your sun. And that is a beautiful boost to your self-confidence. It's a beautiful boost to actually going towards where your soul really wants to grow. One thing about the nodes is that this is both your soul purpose. This is a point of release and you have gifts here, but you can't stay here or else you'll feel very stagnant. And then this is part of where your soul is going. So towards that beautiful, creative Taurian energy where it's stable, it's peaceful, but it's also wildly creative. So really creating for the sake of creativity. And it's really hard being a Capricorn rising and being an earth sign, Taurus, because we all want to create for some sort of tangible like reason. Okay, we're creating, what are we going to do with it now? How is this going to help us in life? Now you're learning to create just for the sake of creating. So yes, some of it might turn into something, right? Some of it might turn into a new business venture, or it might build off of something else and create whatever tangible things. But really, you are like a creative an engine that is just supposed to pump out creativity just for the sake of it, not even thinking as to why you're doing it. Just you're a creative being. You have all of these beautiful ideas coming through you. Some of them might pan out to be something and build upon it and gain something from it, or it just might be a beautiful creative exercise that you're just meant to do.
So helpful. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So just giving yourself permission to like let your creativity run wild and not feel like it's a waste of time if it doesn't end up, becoming something or like, building on something. So that's, very much where your soul is going, is just creation for the sake of creation. So you have that beautiful, beautiful aspect there. And you do have your Venus in the fourth house. So Taurus, I mentioned Venus because the ruler of Venus is the ruler of Taurus, as well as Libra. And you do have Libra in the 10th house, which is part of your career. So there's a lot of creativity there. This could mean that you work from home. This could mean that you work about like with the land in some sort of way. And it also could mean that you're creating for the sake of healing your ancestry in some sort of way, shape, or form. So there's like the family dynamic, healing your family, healing your ancestry, healing, all parts of that and creating more harmony and beauty in your home. So there's that sort of connection there. And I linked that with your purpose as well, because it's just so close to the North Node and the South Node. And that's kind of your soul purpose in a nutshell there. You
Yeah,
also have
that definitely resonates.
yeah, yeah. So you also have the part of fortune there, and that's also like, a part of how you do make your fortune and how you are going to feel really fulfilled in life. It's all connected to this creative house in Taurus, and creating for the sake of creating. You're going to create something, and it is going to be that thing that like really spearhead something really big for you, but also you're going to create for the sake of creating because it's joyful and it puts you at a certain frequency that just makes things come to you very easily and smoothly and in alignment, which is really beautiful. But yeah, let's see. I talked about all of that. So the midheaven is the other thing that I like to look at. And the midheaven is in the house of your south node. So it's not that you're letting go of this beautiful, transformative, healing energy that you've come into this life gifted with. So like a lot of your psychic sensitivity and the ability to read into other people's energy and really help them in a transformative way is still part of your life purpose in a beautiful way. And you have Pluto right there. When I see Pluto next to the midheaven, I know that this is a person of power. So you have Pluto in the midheaven. You're an incredibly powerful person. It's a leadership quality. You're someone who is meant to lead. The negative sides of Pluto is needing to control things, having really high demands on other people and yourself. The beautiful part of Pluto is being able to dig deep into something, being able to transform others and yourself. And this is a huge indicator for constant rebirth, regeneration, all of that. So surrender. And so the need to be able to like let go and be able to do that, which is hard for a Saturnian person because they need stability and control and structure. So being able to let that go and just flow with what's coming up for you is going to be really important. What's not shown on here is in the sky right now, Pluto is in Aquarius and I believe it's at 0 or 1 degrees, and it's going to get to 2 degrees this year. And what's going to happen is it's going to square your Pluto. You're already going to feel that energy pretty heavily. So the next year to 2 years, maybe even 3 years, because Pluto moves very slowly and then it goes back and then it goes forth. So you're going to feel this at different points. But right now you're going through a Pluto square Pluto. It's not exact yet, but it's only within 2 degrees. So you're feeling this. And this is going to be very transformative in your friendships and how you appear in community, and how you carry out your mission. So there might be another evolution within your business as well, where you're expanding even more. And so the only advice I have for you during this pretty important transits that's happening for you is to eliminate resistance. Where you feel things are dying, let it go. Let it go. And
Okay.
that way you can bring in so much expansion because I just feel it, a lot of expansion coming your way with this square that you're going through. And the fact that you have Pluto on the midheaven, that's power. It's power. It's pure power and leadership, and it actually can get you very far. I mean, a lot of world leaders have this. So it's a pretty prominent placement. Again, if used wisely. If not, then Pluto likes to break down what it builds up, right? So being okay with that surrender, eliminating resistance is already a constant theme in your life, but it's going to be magnified the next 1 to 3 years, just because of this like, Pluto square that's coming up for you with Pluto and Aquarius. Yeah, so
That
you get
sounds
to be the
huge.
first wave.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get to be the first wave with your kind of early degrees in a fixed sign of the Pluto change. And I feel like that will make you a leader in this new movement that's coming about with Pluto and Aquarius right now. So all of what you're going through is just to help, help the collective, help humanity move into this like new wave, this new collective way of thinking. So
That's
that's
so great. I feel that so deeply. And so I love that that's in my chart and I'm on the right track.
totally meant for that. Yeah. So that's the quick summary of the astrology chart. You also have Uranus. Before I leave, Uranus in the sky has been just hovering around your sun for the last 3 or 4 years. So it's I have my sun in Taurus as well. And when it hit my sun, of course, I like quit my job, quit all these things. Uranus is just like the queen of the pivot, like being able to just suddenly change whatever you're doing. So there's been a lot of like Uranian activity in your life for a while. When it was retrograde, it was at 19 degrees for quite a bit of time. And now it's not retrograde, so it's going to be moving away from your sun finally. So you'll be able to feel a little bit more stability. But, it's the planet of chaos, and it's also the planet of just these beautiful creative insights, and also the ability to just change your life within like a day. That's the Uranus energy. So that's been hovering around your sun for some time. And it's going to leave soon, but it's still very close. It's at 19 degrees in your sun, and North Node are at 18. So it's very close. And that's been happening in your beautiful chart. So if we look at your human design chart from a soul purpose perspective, you're a beautiful generator. So that means your aura is open and embracing, and you have a very magnetic aura. And the way that generators operate is we see things in our external environment first, and we see whether or not we have like this gut instinct to go towards something or not. So are you lit up by something versus are you not? So your strategy, of course, is to wait to respond, meaning wait to see it in your external reality and your external consciousness before you go and you do something. So that's what you have in yours. Your authority, however, stops that. So if you just had sacral authority, you would be listening to your gut and you would move on. But you have emotional authority, and emotional authority is something that takes a little bit of time because you generate your own emotions. You have to wait for some form of emotional clarity. You can't feel too like it can't be like, oh, I'm so excited about this. I'm so pumped up. And you can't be like, I don't want to do anything right now. I'm just like in a terrible mood. It's just that emotional neutral space that you need to be in before you make that decision. So it takes time. And you'll know your emotional wave if you track it, because everyone has like these patterns that they follow, and your particular emotional wave is unconscious. So it's the red line, so it's unconscious, and it kind of just happens, but you can track it. When you're feeling like a wave of melancholy or whatever it is, or just needing to cry, notate like when those things happen. You have a specific wave. It's called the like buildup wave. It's called the tribal wave. And it's all about like touch and needs, and it goes up, 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 and then it sets off, basically. Like it just builds and builds and builds. So maybe 3 days, or maybe over the course of a month it builds. It gets up and then it happens. And so it builds up, like you need to scream or cry or rage, whatever it is, it just needs to get out of your body, and then it kind of starts the cycle again. Um, so
So
if it's like a once a
interesting.
month cry, then
Yeah.
that's your pattern, or it's something really small. It just, you track that essentially to figure out, okay, what's my particular pattern for me? And it can help you as far as like, oh, this is when I'm emotionally clear. But yeah, it depends on how you are. Does it take 12 hours for you to make a decision? Does it take a week? It's up to you. And these are big decisions, obviously, but yeah. The other thing I like to look at for life purpose in particular is your incarnation cross. So your incarnation cross is here. It's left angle cross of defiance 1. And I know that's a lot, but incarnation cross, this means your life theme. And it really is the cross of the sun on your design side, which is unconscious, and your personality side, and the earth on your unconscious side and your personality side. So these are the most important gates in your chart. And so this left angle cross of defiance, your life theme is actually to step out of line. and to represent the other way of doing things, which is going to be hard for a Saturnian person. So, but that is like how you work. And I didn't show you in your other chart, in your astrology chart, for your mind, Mercury, the planet representing your mind, it's in a beautiful trine with Uranus. And so that means the ability to really think abstractly, the ability to really think outside of the line and outside of the box that we're all in, if that makes sense. So you have that natural ability. But yeah, you're supposed to show people how to do the other way of doing things. And your goal here is basically to bring variations from the norm. So your life might be an example of that for people, and the way that you teach out different modalities, that's an example. But basically, yeah, you're here to show a different way of living and a different way of doing things. And that's your big life purpose. At least in human design, that's your big life theme. Yeah. And so your most important gates are gate 49. It's coming out of your emotional center. And that's all about, creating a set of values and improving like the social and spiritual well-being of the planet, which is a tall order. And this is something you do very naturally because, again, it's unconscious. You don't even realize you're doing it. And then you have gate 4, which is really important. And that's the gate of logic. It's needing to, create logic out of chaos. It's having a fear of chaos a little bit. And it's trying to organize thought. So you have a very natural ability to organize thought, which is really nice. And then my 2 favorite gates that you have in here that you're conscious of is gate 2, which is being able to turn visions into reality. And then the downside of this is clinging too much to the physicality of ideas. So you're a person, and it's shown right up here. You're a person who has a stream of inspiration and beautiful ideas running through. And that gate 2 wants to make everything a reality. And your gate 1, which is all about self-expression, just wants to express. It just wants to create. It just wants something new. It just wants to go and create endlessly. And you have the ability to do that. The thing is with gate 1, which could be connected to your emotional wave, is that gate 1 is so creative that the other side of creativity is having moments of nothingness, having moments of melancholy even, because you almost need to slow yourself down. It's like the melancholy is that point of chaos, that point of like rest almost, where you're in the womb space. And you have to come back out. Once you're back out, it like flows all out again. So there are periods, there are
A
waves.
rebirth cycle.
Yes, there's a rebirth cycle. Extremely creative people need a rebirth cycle. And so when you're in that, that's why. This does give like a little bit of melancholy because you almost have to experience that to be able to get to the other side of like creativity, joy, and like flow. So it's an interesting gate. And it's one of your most important because it's in your incarnation cross, which is pretty cool. Yeah. The other just general thing I wanted to talk about is how many centers you have defined. It blows the mind. Like you are here to, give that energy out to other people. You generate so much of your own thought, your own truths, your own identity. You're rooted in your own energy in so many different ways, your own intuition, all of it, life force energy. That's what you're giving out to other people because you have a defined way of working and doing things and being that other people can learn from. So I'm the opposite. I have all of these open except for 2.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Oh, and where you have like open centers, this is where you're meant to, or undefined centers, this is where you're meant to gain a lot of wisdom. So you're gaining so much wisdom from the things that, that you're channeling from your crown chakra, right? This is the crown. So you're gaining so much wisdom from all the inspiration that you're getting just out in the ethers, right? In different ways all the time. And you're gaining a lot of wisdom about your value system. So the heart center is your ego, it's your will, and it also is the center of value. So people with this undefined, which most of us are undefined hearts, we are on a learning mission to understand our own value. So especially in the context of owning your own business and pricing things, like it's very hard for someone with an undefined heart to price things, and we over deliver half the time. And that's something that we're all learning. Like we're all learning our own intrinsic value and how much value we put towards things. And pricing is just one example, but it's just in life in general, we're really understanding our own value in a lot of ways. and we make promises that we have to make promises that are in alignment with our energy. Otherwise, when it comes time to do something, like if you promise to help someone move, they're going to be like, when the time comes, you might not want to do it anymore. That's what undefined hearts are like. We have to promise things within our own energy to stay in alignment, which is really interesting.
Yeah, that definitely resonates.
Yeah. Okay. And so with the head center, anytime you have an open, especially an open center, this one's open because it has no gates coming from it. And this one's undefined because you do have gates coming through. Open centers can amplify things even more than undefined centers. When you have an undefined or an open center, you're able to step into a room and amplify the energy even more than someone who has it defined, right? So you, like, again, huge capacity to get inspiration from everything. But the thing is, because it's open, you might be feeling the pressure to do something with all the ideas that are coming through to you. And if you had it defined, you wouldn't necessarily feel that same pressure. And so you're learning, how to navigate that, how to like, okay, yes, I have this idea. I don't have to do anything with it, right? Or yes, I have this idea. I am going to do something with it. And just being okay with being deeply inspired all the time. So that's kind of the lessons that you're learning through. And just like the heart, making promises deliberately, making sure you value yourself wholly, making sure you don't have something to prove. That's the biggest thing as well. With the heart center that's undefined, we constantly feel like we have something to prove or we need to show up in a certain way. When people who have this defined don't necessarily have those urges, they just know who they are and they know how they show up and like all of that. So all things that we're learning from. Another thing I've noticed, because your gate 14 is both conscious and unconscious, and it's both in the Saturn attribute. So this gate 14, you amplify what's good in other people. This is an effortless gate. You don't have to do anything with it, but you might have had friends that you were able to just like amplify and activate, and now they're like doing so well. You have the power to really activate other people so that they can see the best in themselves, and become very successful just from, hearing what you have to say or knowing you and getting that encouragement. And Saturn, again, this is all about your discipline, your progress, your evolution, and it's coming right out of the center for your life force energy. So,
Wow.
all in all, you've got a beautiful chart. That's what I had, just for the soul purpose aspect of things. But yeah, you have an incredible chart. You have a lot going on. You do have this profile that's 6-2, and the 6 is all about, again, it's like an old soul marker as well. And, the first part of a six's life is all about experimentation. And so you've had that, and the older you get, the wiser you get, the more people see you as a spiritual teacher. And so that's definitely there for you. And the 2 side of it is to be able to retreat, to have times to retreat. So 6 can be out there, it's always wanting to be out there. It's more of the conscious side of you. And the 2 really needs moments of like true hermit time. And it does give you like a natural and creative genius about you as well. So that's just an attribute that helps you with your overall soul purpose, which is to show people a different way of life and a different way of living. I thought that was pretty awesome.
Wow. All of it is like spot on.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
awesome.
Yes. It feels so good to hear about myself,
Yeah, yeah.
and really empowering, and just certain things that I question or that are hard for me, like being the rainbow sheep in my family and seeing that like that is my purpose. I'm supposed to do that. I'm supposed to show people that, like, step outside of the box. You don't have to follow these rules and the way that we do things, and like because our society says, and that definitely resonates with me because I feel that so deeply.
Yes.
And yeah, it gives me the permission to do what I'm doing.
Exactly, exactly. Because people, I mean, anyone, we all have like this unique energy within us, and we have these urges that society kind of squashes out of us. And so we end up second guessing these like natural urges or energies that we feel within ourselves. And that's why I love human design and astrology so much, because for me anyway, it gave me full permission to be my full self. And it's nothing I tell anyone ever is like new information to them, if that makes sense. Like it's all stuff that's been felt within themselves. And I'm so glad that you basically reiterated that in a different way.
Yeah, and it was so beautiful to experience you like going over the chart, like the birth chart, and then doing the human design because when I first heard about human design and I started looking at it, I'm like, well, like astrology gives you so much. Like, why do we need this other chart? But you do, it really like you made my like idea of human design, like it's just such a powerful tool. I have such a deeper understanding. And when you were talking about like that I'm emotional, I had never, I think I was like reading into it wrong because like what you were saying like made more so much more sense. And what I was like reading about it wasn't spot. I was confused about it. So
Yeah.
yeah, you really clarified that for me.
Oh my gosh, that's so helpful. Yeah, the emotional thing is funny. I always explain, yeah, you can read into it so many different ways. I find a lot of emotional people are non-emotional on their face, I guess, like when you meet them, but they have these waves. It's just they're creating their own emotions. And so you have non-emotionals out there. They're called non-emotionals. It doesn't mean they don't have emotions. It just means they're picking up emotions from the external environment. They're being triggered by other people's emotions. They're not theirs, but it runs through their body. It's like they're more of a sponge. So oftentimes you see the non-emotional people than the undefined emotional people are more emotional than the emotionals, if that makes sense.
Ah,
They're picking up on everything else. They're picking up on everyone else's emotions and everyone else's energies. And so their wisdom is to be a screen and not a sponge. And they're learning all of that. And yours is to be able to honor when that wave comes up for you and know that you create those own emotions within yourself, within your own energy, which is very powerful.
yeah, that's very empowering because I mean, I get to choose.
Mhm.
Oh, which is, yeah, that definitely resonates. Oh my gosh. And then when you were talking about how like the ancestor stuff and like bringing that forward and I do like this is my work like I have so many experiences in past life and I definitely am here to heal that and heal like the mother wound and all of that stuff. So, yes, it was
Very much.
spot on. That was
Yeah, I didn't
great.
even go too into like the mother part of your chart, but I was like curious because the planet signifying your mother, not just the moon, but the planet signifying the house of the mother, is right next to Chiron, which is that like wounded healer part of it. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. So yeah, that's like a whole nother part of a reading. But like, yeah, it's just very, very interesting that that's there as well. Because it could mean a lot of things. It can mean that she triggers those wounds for you, or it could mean that she's part of like, trigger like creating that healer part of you as well. So it could be both as well. Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
really interesting.
It's incredible that like all of your like your whole life, like everything is can be charted on
I
a map.
know. I know. It's nuts. It blew my mind the first time I like learned about it. And now I'm learning like I'm going deeper in the traditional
Oh,
techniques of things. And yeah, it's just I keep learning more and more and like adding it into my readings and layering it on. So yeah.
yeah. This coach that I had, she told me that there's like a book about like I'm sure there is for all of the houses, but like Chiron, and she said that
Mhm.
that's really powerful to learn about that aspect of yourself.
I have two different books on Chiron.
Oh my gosh.
I'll show you this one. The Hide My Rose Quartz. This one's really good. It was pretty spot on about mine. This one on Chiron. It's by Barbara Handclaw. It's been really, really helpful. Yeah, she's pretty spot on about things as well.
Okay, I'll have to
Yeah.
put that on my reading list.
Yeah, I have 1,000 books. So if you ever need anything, let me know.
Yeah, that's good. I love to learn too. I
And the
love
card I pulled for I have like this astrology oracle, and I pulled a card for you, and it was this is Mercury and Neptune together. And I don't look at her interpretations, I just do it myself.
Yeah.
But Mercury and Neptune together, that is like creative thinking. It's spiritual teaching as well. And I feel like that's pretty spot on for you.
Oh, perfect. That's so
Yeah.
perfect. When you showed me, I really saw like the masculine and feminine, like balancing the two. That's just like what came to me when I saw those symbols.
Very much so. Yeah, very much so. That's a really good one. Yeah.
It's so funny that you pulled a card for me because I actually pulled a number for you. Um,
Really?
yeah, like for angels numbers. So does the number 467 mean anything to you?
Oh,
No. Okay, so it says angels say that you're on the right path and are reaping benefits in spiritual and material ways. So keep going.
oh my gosh, that's so, so helpful.
Yeah, and this is just out of the angel book,
Oh
Angel
my gosh.
101.
Ooh, I'm gonna get that. That's awesome.
So
Thank you. We're
yeah. Yes, you're on the right path. So keep going.
Thank you. I mean, I think that's why we're here. People need to hear that they're on the right path because a lot of people are charting new courses, and we're building new roads, and it's really hard
It's
when
hard.
you're alone on this on this journey. So,
Mhm.
yeah, it's so
Yeah,
helpful.
that is so true. Like I have definitely felt that way in that I'm on this path on my own. I had this beautiful download one time and I want to share it with you because it was so impactful. Um I was having a hard time, and my spirit, my guides, they showed me all of these light workers like lined up, like just thousands of them. And we all had this candle, and everyone had it up in the sky, like lighting the whole darkness with our lights. And
Wow.
some people started to like waver or get tired of holding their light up. So they were able to bring it back down to their chest and like kind of go inward and do what they needed to do. But there were all these other light workers still lighting the sky that allowed them to like retreat and be with themselves for that moment for whatever they needed. And they were completely supported and taken care of. And yeah, like that. I think about that all the time when I start to have a hard time. Just that, like, I'm not alone, like you're not alone. And there are others that are holding that light for you so that way you can take a moment for yourself.
Oh my gosh, I love that so I think I got goosebumps. Like I love that so much. Thank you for sharing that. I'm gonna like hold
Yeah.
that in my heart, seriously.
Yeah, because I know like we were talking about this earlier, like as moms and trying to figure out like taking care of ourselves. And so just knowing that that it's okay to do that, that like other things, other, you know, people, other collective things are taking care of what we need to but we like what we think we need to hold all the time, that it's okay not to.
Right. Oh my goodness. I love that. That's incredible.
So
Thank
I'm
you.
so glad.
Big vision. That's a big vision. Like I
Yeah.
love that.
I was sitting at the chiropractor waiting to be called and I was like, I'm just gonna meditate real quick, and that came through.
Oh my gosh, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
it just came, it was just changed my life. Yeah.
I love that. Thank you. Thank you for
Yeah, you're
sharing.
so welcome. I enjoyed this so much. This was so healing, so magical, and so powerful.
Oh my gosh, I completely agree. Thank you for like helping me heal and be able to really tap into my intuition in that sort of way. Again, it's been so difficult for me, and just with your guidance that just it opened up so much within me, and I still feel like I'm being worked on, so that's
Oh,
nice.
good, good.
Yeah.
I'm so
Um,
glad. Yeah.
yeah.
And don't forget later when you realize that they're done working to go and see that silhouette and just like imagine it exploding. Um,
Okay.
because that's like the easiest way to close that because you don't want to leave it open.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
so welcome. Oh, well, those of you watching, I truly hope that you enjoyed this episode of the Coaching Kaleidoscope with Regina. We both had a great time, and we really hope that you enjoyed watching this.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.